The Chattahoochee National Water Trail runs a 48-mile course between 8 cities, each of which are equally unique. Kind of like us. Hey, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Amber. And we have been inspired to study how the culture of the cities around the National Water Trail can be woven into design places within this recreational park, so that this park would embrace the place it is in while preserving the impaired natural and cultural resources of the park for the enjoyment, education, and inspiration of present and future generations. The concept maps here display this desire to connect the valuable places of each city with the key points of the parks in order to connect the two. But what kind of connection already exists between the two, and how could the culture of these places be highlighted or elaborated? Will the ultimate connection between the cities and the Chattahoochee manifest itself physically, aesthetically, or something less tangible?
Over time, this river flowed past a succession of cultures while inscribing further into the bedrock. Each culture has acknowledged this river, yet presently this understanding seems concealed beneath the distractions of urbanization. In such a metropolis as this, can an exemplary waterway play host to the expanding population while retaining the quality of a national water trail? How will it be cherished in the present and continue to educate and inspire future generations so that they too will enjoy a piece of Georgia's enduring history? By understanding the river's place in the current culture of the Atlanta region, we might come to find clues to the Chattahoochee's persistence along the banks of some cities in this region. The river might bend a bit differently than that of some of the pristine waterways around the United States, yet by finding a cohesive identity between the cultural and naturalistic aspects of the park along this trail, could the Chattahoochee embrace its setting to become a cherished amenity for the Atlanta region?
Since each city along the trail has its own distinctive relationship to the river, we sought to uncover the variety unique qualities and transform existing access points, promoting the diverse recreational opportunities along and within it. Weaving stories on the Chattahoochee ties the river directly to the culture of those around it, and thereby to the city herein.
The 8 cities delineated by this national water trail expand north from the top of Atlanta City proper for 48 miles until reaching Buford Dam. Here the waterway meanders within the valleys, around which the system of parklands extends outward into the cities. From here portions of the park are surrounded by the quiet suburban communities which benefit from this natural buffer. Elsewhere, the river and surrounding parklands are bordered by commercial and high-density residences that pose a stark contrast to this adjacency. In such spaces, can urban development harmoniously coincide among the natural landscapes of this river? If the Park Service can stimulate the health and ecology within the parks, can it also allow for the growing demands of the cities? The National Park Service can significantly increase the National Water Trail's relevancy for all Americans, a key goal noted in the National Park Service's Urban Agenda in 2016. Within these 5 specific areas, by addressing their unique challenges and opportunities. These focus areas center around commercial and high-density residential clusters directly adjacent to the river.
The southernmost focus area highlights Pace's Mill. Here, a number of industrial facilities and a warehouse operates within the 2.5-mile radius around this portion of the river. This poses a significant constraint on future park expansion. People who posted on Flickr, Twitter, and Instagram within this area seem to focus largely on the structures in and around the parks, with few photos of events and sighting of animals like the hawk in the collage, reaffirming, reaffirming our notion of this place as an industrial and warehouse area.
At Cochrane Shoals and Palisades, the majority of the forested parkland is relatively distant from the surrounding commercial and high-density residential areas. Until the park thins out like at the bottom of Cochrane Shoals, where the shopping areas, SunTrust Park, and Heirloom Barbecue are. The photos that people posted on social media show far more images were of the animals and others of people's activities on the river and the trails. North of Sandy Springs near Vickery Creek and Island Ford are a number of high-density residential and commercial developments such as downtown Roswell area and the shopping centers and tavern in Sandy Springs. These areas could have an interesting influence on the nearby park units and the water trail. Throughout this focus area, people posted online photos of the fish they caught, places where they like to hang out with others, walk their dogs, and a few images of historic structures showcasing how park visitors relish various experiences along the waterway.
Just east of here at Jones Bridge in Focus Area 4, the commercial and high-density residential areas are set back from the river from the environmental campus and the water treatment facility, discouraging a strong urban presence along the riverside. Where visitors discovered aspects of the water trail and the surrounding sites, they posted photos of mostly the wildlife and bridges with a few different activities.
Here in Abbott's Bridge, there are a lot of high-density residential and commercial areas adjacent to the water trail, such as the theater, shopping centers, and school, that could all benefit from the amenities shown at the riverfront in these images.
We chose 3 of these focus areas of greater potential and opportunity to study the water trail's context in the adjacent cities, starting with Focus Area 2, where Cochrane Shoals and the West Palisades are the most popular park units based on this visitor study. The major reason for that is their proximity to residential areas in Sandy Springs and Cumberland. These parks have the potential to foster larger urban crowds as well as other opportunities to weave natural aspects of park into residential areas.
North between Soap Creek and Cochrane Shoals, there is a potential for a facility that would service the residential communities, while on the south end of Cochrane Shoals, the entry to the park could better function as a promenade based on the current use of the portion of the park here. West Palisades could also connect to some of the nearby city destinations as well.
Within Focus Area 3, Vickery Creek and Island Ford in Sandy Springs are also fairly popular because of their proximity to the residential areas of Roswell and Sandy Springs. Downtown Roswell and Sandy Springs Shopping Center is also within a very walkable distance. However, limited access to the river from parks and steep topography could constrain further park expansion.
While Island Ford functions well as a forested park among the suburbs of Sandy Springs, Vickery Creek shows opportunities for a naturalistic experience just beyond the south entrance to the park, where visitors' views are constrained by the surrounding ridges. Yet as visitors gain in elevation on the hillside, the views from here show the development below, lifting one above the city. The park could better connect to the surrounding community by simply hosting a bus stop at the south entrance, since there are many stops just northwest of the park entrance here.
This northmost focus area is located around Abbott's Bridge, which is shared by both the city of Johns Creek and Duluth. Even though Duluth has pretty high density of residential close to Abbott's Bridge, it's still not as popular as other recreational units south of this focus area. This might be because Abbott's Bridge is surrounded by mostly schools and also a city park, and the park unit itself has only one trail connecting to a boat ramp. However, it could connect with adjacent schools and school programs. Duluth, however, is lacking public transportation and has no recorded sidewalks or trails that connect with the park. This could constrain further park expansion. Johns Creek, on the other hand, has better city sidewalks and trails that connect with Abbott's Bridge, but mostly throughout low-density residential communities along the water trail, which can likely thrive as a healthy forest system.
Taking a deeper look at Focus Area 2, we reflected on the different places that we visited during our time in Georgia. These spots are the yellow stars here on the map that mark the places that we went on our trip. We were inspired by these 3 different locations as examples of the potential for weaving the urban fabric and parks together. The long and sunny walk along the water at Cochrane Shoals surprisingly only facilitated visual access to the water at the little wooden dock over the river. The same thing happens at Johns Creek Overlook that is right across from Jones Bridge Park, a very interactive place. This stood out in contrast to Jones Bridge Park, where there were stairs going down directly to the river. Here we saw many little kids playing in the pools of the river while their parents sat back on the stairs and path just above to watch over them. On the path above, people were grilling and eating together with family or friends, which seemed like a vibrant, enjoyable place. In National Park Service land, we see evidence of the desire for this direct access to the water in scattered social trails off the main path toward the river. Here lies an opportunity for the National Park Service to respond to the public use.
At Cochrane Shoals and the Palisades of Focus Area 2, we looked at areas where National Recreational Services fit the existing program of Sandy Springs in Cumberland, and then we questioned what would help live the city and nature together. 3 stops were identified to be the most undervalued places between these parks and that could serve as examples of this sort of integration. By connecting sidewalks and trails between the national park land and the surrounding communities, we can weave these 2 places together to bring into more visitors and also provide these visitors with a more walkable and connected recreational environment and ultimately facilities to support their activities.
The first proposal will accommodate the significant pedestrian traffic in Cochrane Shoals, where a paved trail with sufficient overhead shade allows visitors to pause, sit, and enjoy the beautiful views of the river. Moreover, a dock is allowing visitors to sit on the edge of the water and put in boats or simply dip their feet. This place could encourage social interactions while supporting and enhancing the present outdoor recreation. Currently, we can see that there is a main large path with a cow path or social trail alongside it, created out of the desire for more space here. Establishing a wider, adequate path lined with benches, shade trees, lighting, and an opportunity to get closer to the water, the path becomes more of a social infrastructure to reveal the urbanized park space as a vibrant and interactive place.
South of Cochrane Shoals, the second proposal envisions a natural extension below Interstate 285. Below Interstate 285, where a new path extends along the current trail underneath the interstate, a set of steps down to the water transforms this pathway into a destination where people could enjoy walking down to. A Flickr user uploaded this image of the trail below Interstate 285 that we then used to imagine what would happen if we let nature take back some power from the city by weaving into the hard city structures, living and breathing things. The corridor offers a different experience which could encourage people to walk along the river and then to their ultimate destinations.
One of which could be the Chattahoochee Coffee Company, where the next proposal takes place, and multiple paths from the islands along the National Water Trail allow visitors to dock up on the river and go get a quick bite to eat or something to drink, and where hikers could walk across to the same islands from the shore. These hikers likely would take this path from the I-285 underpass toward the coffee company, where a new bridge and path would allow visitors to tour through the woods and islands, offering some new experiences with the seasons and the rise and fall of the river.
If the National Water Trail partnered with coffee company, the area just below the store provides a great view of the riverbend that might be a place where people could sit close to the water and drink their coffee while enjoying the peace that Chattahoochee brings to them, rather than just passing by. Simple benches along the water could help visitors to find that valuable escape from the metropolitan city.
From here, the trail could continue south to the Palisades to further extend the length of the trail system, leading visitors on an adventure that reflects the kind of moments that the pristine American parks provide along the paths and unique spaces, allowing a bit of excitement and inspiration for such explorers to continue on to the cherished natural places that constitute the heart of Atlanta's National Water Trail. This park embraces the place it is in while preserving the unimpaired natural and cultural resources of the park for the enjoyment and education and inspiration of present and future generations by weaving the culture of these 8 cities into the design places along the National Water Trail.